In 1996, to PhD students at Stanford University, Larry Page and Sergey Brin noticed a simple problem. The internet was growing rapidly, but finding useful information was frustrating. Search engines showed endless lists of websites, and the best answers were often hidden. One evening, they stayed in the computer lab long after everyone else had gone home. Larry looked at the screen and said, "There has to be a smarter way." Sergey smiled. What if the internet could organize itself? They started writing code, not knowing that one idea would eventually change the world. At first, it was just an experiment. The room was quiet except for the sound of keyboards and computer fans. Stacks of books covered the desks, empty coffee cups set beside tangled cables. Every few minutes, Larry would test a new algorithm while Sergey searched for bugs in the code. Hours passed without either of them noticing. Sometimes the sun was already rising when they finally looked out the window. Friends walked into the lab and laughed. "You Ray still here?" Larry nodded without taking his eyes off the screen. We Ray close. Nobody knew exactly what they were building. Many students believed it was just another university research project that would disappear after graduation. Some professors thought the idea was interesting but impossible to scale. After all, millions of new web pages appeared every month. How could the students organize all of them instead of giving up? Larry and Sergey asked even bigger questions. What if every website could help rank every other website? What if the most useful pages naturally appeared first? What if searching the internet could take seconds instead of minutes? Night after night they improved the system. The university computers worked almost continuously. Soon their project was using so much processing power that other students noticed the slowdown. One afternoon, a system administrator joked, "I think your search engine is searching the entire internet." Everyone laughed, but Larry quietly replied, "That's exactly what we were trying to do." They didn't have investors, they didn't have a business plan. They didn't even know if anyone outside Stanford would ever use their project. They simply believed that solving one real problem was worth every sleepless night. One evening, before leaving the lab, Sergey wrote a sentence on the whiteboard, "Focus on helping people find answers." Neither of them erased it. That simple idea would become the foundation of one of the most influential technology companies in history. For now, however, they were still just two students with old computers, endless curiosity, and a dream that seemed far too ambitious to become reality. Their project became too large for the university computers. Friends donated old hard drives. They connected cheap computers with colorful cables and built their own servers. Soon they rented a small garage that became Google's first office. There were no luxury desks, no expensive furniture, just computers, whiteboards, pizza boxes, and two founders working almost every hour of the day. Money was running out, but they believed their search engine was different. Every new user gave them another reason to keep going. The garage was small and crowded. Extension cords stretched across the floor. Computer parts were stacked in the corners. Old monitors hummed day and night. The room became so warm from the servers that they often left the garage door open. Larry arrived early every morning with a notebook full of new ideas. Sergey usually carried a cup of coffee and immediately started testing the latest version of the search engine. Some days everything worked perfectly, other days the entire system crashed without warning. When that happened, they didn't panic, they simply restarted the computers and began fixing the problems again. There was no marketing team, no large staff, no business suits, only a handful of people who believed that better technology could improve the internet. Lunch was often pizza, dinner was sometimes the leftover pizza from lunch. Many nights they slept only a few hours before returning to work. Visitors were surprised by how simple everything looked. Instead of expensive offices, they found folding tables, handwritten notes on whiteboards, and wires connecting homemade servers. One investor visited the garage and asked, "Do you really think this can compete with the biggest search engines?" Larry smiled. "We were not trying to be the biggest, we were trying to be the most useful." Word about the new search engine spread quickly around universities and technology communities. Students told their friends, professors recommended it to researchers. Engineers started using it every day. The number of searches doubled, then doubled again. Every morning Larry checked the server statistics. Every morning the numbers were higher than the day before. Thousands of users became tens of thousands. Tens of thousands became hundreds of thousands. The homemade servers worked almost without rest. Sometimes a hard drive failed in the middle of the night. Instead of calling technicians, Larry and Sergey replaced the parts themselves and had the system running again before sunrise. Despite the long hours and constant challenges, the excitement never disappeared. Each new user meant someone had found an answer faster than before. Each improvement made the internet a little easier to explore. Standing inside that tiny garage filled with cables and old computers, neither founder knew exactly how large Google would become. But every day they believed a little more that their small project had the potential to change the way the world searched for information. The first success, more and more people started using Google. Students recommended it to friends. Professors used it for research. Engineers preferred it over other search engines. Traffic grew so quickly that the servers struggled to keep up. Investors finally noticed the young company and decided to support it with new funding. Google hired its first employees and moved into a larger office. The small university project was becoming a real business. Every morning, Larry and Sergey opened the website statistics before checking their emails. The numbers kept climbing. 10, 0 searches a day, then 50, 0. Soon 100, 0 searches every single day. Neither of them could believe how quickly people were discovering Google. Users loved one simple thing: they could find the information they needed in seconds. There were no complicated pages filled with distractions, just a clean search box and accurate results. People started telling their friends, if you can't find it anywhere else, try Google. Technology forums praised the search engine. University students shared it across campuses. Researchers used it to save hours of work. Software developers recommended it to colleagues. Without spending millions on advertising, Google continued growing through word of mouth. But success created a new problem. The servers were running almost all day and all night. Sometimes they became so overloaded that searches slowed down. Larry and Sergey spent hours adding new hard drives and improving the system. They knew that if Google became slow, users might never return. One afternoon, an investor visited the office. Instead of polished conference rooms, he found cables covering the floor, whiteboards filled with ideas, and engineers discussing algorithms while eating pizza. He looked around and asked, "Where's the CEO's office?" Sergey laughed. Ray standing in it. The investor smiled. He wasn't impressed by the furniture. He was impressed by the technology. A few weeks later, Google received a major investment. For the first time, the company had enough money to grow without worrying about every computer purchase. They hired their first engineers, then designers, then customer support specialists. The small team slowly became a real company. Google moved into a larger office with enough space for everyone. The new workplace was different from traditional businesses. Employees wrote ideas on walls. Meetings happened while walking through hallways. People were encouraged to ask questions and experiment with new solutions. Innovation became part of the company as culture. Every week brought another milestone. 1 million searches, 5 million searches, 10 million searches. The internet was expanding faster than anyone had imagined, and millions of people were choosing Google as the easiest way to explore it. Late one evening, after everyone had gone home, Larry looked at the latest traffic report. He quietly placed it on the table. Sergey looked at the numbers and smiled. "We were helping a lot of people now." Larry nodded, but we were only getting started. Outside the office, the world was changing. Inside, a small team of engineers was building a search engine that would soon become one of the most recognized technologies on the planet. Google introduced a clean homepage with almost no distractions. People loved its speed and simplicity. Millions of searches were performed every day. The company expanded into new countries and different languages. Engineers continued improving the technology, making search results faster and more accurate. What started as a student project was becoming one of the fastest growing technology companies in the world. Every morning, the company celebrated another milestone: 10 million searches, 20 million, 50 million. The numbers kept growing faster than anyone had predicted. Employees gathered around computer screens, watching live statistics update every second. People from different countries were discovering Google for the first time. Students searched for homework, doctors searched for medical research. Travelers looked for maps and hotels, small business owners searched for new customers. Families searched for answers to everyday questions. Google was becoming part of daily life. To keep up with demand, engineers worked day and night. Rows of servers filled entire rooms. New data centers were built to process billions of searches. Every millisecond mattered. Even making a search result appear a fraction of a second faster became an important goal. Larry often walked through the engineering teams asking one simple question: how can we make it better? No idea was too small. One engineer improved loading speed. Another redesigned search ranking. Another reduced the time needed to process information. Thousands of small improvements combined into a dramatically better experience for users. The company also expanded beyond the United States. Google became available in more languages every year. Soon people from Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, and the Middle East were using the same simple search box. Offices opened in new cities around the world. Engineers from different cultures joined the company, bringing new ideas and perspectives. The colorful Google logo became recognizable almost everywhere. Visitors entering the headquarters noticed something unusual. There were bicycles in the hallways, whiteboards covered with creative ideas, open spaces where teams could collaborate freely. People discussed technology over coffee, played table tennis during breaks, and returned to solving difficult problems. The goal remained the same as it had been in the university lab: help people find information quickly and easily. By now, millions of searches were happening every single day, then hundreds of millions. The small garage was only a memory. The student project had grown into a global technology company serving users across the world. One evening, Larry and Sergey stood together looking at a giant screen displaying real-time search activity. Colored lights appeared from every continent. Millions of people were searching at the same moment. Sergey smiled. Can you believe this started with 2 students and a few old computers? Larry looked at the screen for a moment and quietly answered, we've come a long way. Then he added, but there is still so much more to build. And while the world celebrated Google's incredible growth, thousands of engineers continued working behind the scenes, improving a search engine that millions of people had already begun to rely on every day. Google launched new products and services that millions of people began using every day. Businesses, students, teachers, and families relied on its technology. The company hired thousands of employees and opened offices around the world. The founders never stopped investing in innovation, believing that every problem could have a better solution. Google became one of the most recognized technology brands on the planet. Every year, the company grew bigger. Engineers worked on ideas that once seemed impossible. One team focused on making email faster and easier. Another built tools to help people find locations and navigate cities. Others created online document editors, translation services, photo storage, and video platforms that connected creators with audiences around the world. Millions of people started using Google as products every morning without even thinking about it. Students searched for information before school. Teachers prepared lessons using online resources. Small business owners reached customers through digital advertising. Families planned vacations, checked directions, and shared photos online. Google's technology quietly became part of everyday life. The company continued hiring talented people from different countries and backgrounds. Designers, programmers, researchers, and scientists worked together to solve difficult problems. Inside the offices, whiteboards were filled with new ideas. Teams tested hundreds of experiments every week. Some projects failed quickly. Others became products used by billions of people. Larry and Sergey encouraged employees to stay curious. They believed that innovation happened when people were free to ask questions and try new solutions. One afternoon, a young engineer nervously presented an idea to the founders. It might not work, he admitted. Larry smiled. That's okay if we were never failing. We were probably not trying anything ambitious enough. That philosophy became part of the company as culture. Instead of fearing mistakes, employees focused on learning and improving. As technology evolved, Google invested in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, mobile software, and advanced research. The company expanded far beyond its original search engine. Its services helped people study, communicate, build businesses, discover new places, and access information from almost anywhere in the world. New offices opened across North America, Europe, Asia, South America, Africa, and Australia. Thousands became tens of thousands of employees, millions of users became billions. The colorful Google logo became one of the most recognizable symbols in technology. Yet Larry and Sergey often reminded new employees of the company's early days. They showed photos of the small garage, the homemade servers, the old computers connected by colorful cables, the pizza boxes stacked beside whiteboards. Those pictures reminded everyone that extraordinary companies do not always begin with extraordinary resources. Sometimes they begin with a simple question, a small team, and the determination to solve a problem that millions of people face. Years after writing their first lines of code, Larry walked through Google's headquarters and paused in front of a wall displaying the company's mission. He smiled and quietly said, "We wanted to help people find answers. We never imagined how many lives that idea would touch." And somewhere, another student sat in a small room with an ambitious idea, proving that the next great innovation could begin just as simple. Years later, a student asked Larry Page, "Did you always know Google would become this successful?" Larry smiled and answered, "No, we simply wanted to solve one problem better than anyone else." Sergey added, "Big companies don't always begin with big offices or big budgets. Sometimes they begin with two students, a small garage, a few old computers, and an idea that nobody else believes in." This story became an inspiration for entrepreneurs everywhere. It proved that curiosity, persistence, and a simple idea can grow into something that changes the lives of billions of people. The auditorium was completely silent. Thousands of students listened carefully. Many were writing notes, others simply watched, imagining their own future. Another student stood up and asked, "What was the hardest part of building Google?" Larry thought for a moment before answering. It wasn't he writing the code. It wasn't he finding investors. It was continuing to believe in our idea when almost nobody knew who we were. Sergey nodded. In the beginning, every new user felt like a victory. Every bug felt like a disaster. But every problem also taught us something new. The audience applauded. After the conference, dozens of young entrepreneurs gathered around them. One student said, "I don't have much money." Another added, "I don't have connections." A third quietly admitted, "I am afraid of failing." Larry smiled and replied, "When we started, we didn't have all the answers either. We just kept asking better questions." Sergey pointed to a photo displayed on the large screen behind them. It showed the tiny garage where Google had once operated, old computers, simple desks, colorful cables, whiteboards covered with handwritten notes, pizza boxes in the corner. Nothing about the picture looked extraordinary. Yet from that small room came an idea that would eventually help billions of people find information every day. Larry looked at the audience and said, "People often see successful companies and think they appeared overnight. They don't see the late nights, the mistakes, the failed experiments, the hundreds of versions that nobody remembers. They only see the final result." The students listened quietly. Some smiled, some became emotional because they realized every great achievement begins long before anyone notices it. Before leaving the stage, Sergey shared one final message. If you have an idea that can make life easier for even one person, don't ignore it. Learn, build, improve, and never stop being curious. The audience stood and applauded for several minutes. As Larry and Sergey walked off the stage, they passed a group of engineering students discussing their own startup ideas. Larry smiled. Years earlier, he had been one of those students. A notebook, an old computer, a simple question, and a dream that seemed impossible. Google's story became more than the story of a technology company. It became proof that innovation often starts with curiosity, grows through persistence, and succeeds because people refuse to give up. And somewhere in a university classroom, a student was already writing the first line of code for the next idea that might change the world.